later. Hello and welcome to another IELTS speaking practice video by Johnny IELTS. So today is a new student, Miss Anh Thư. So she is in a specialized class in English in her high school. So probably let's expect to have like a hackathon, examples of practice, IELTS speaking practice. All right, so Miss Anh Thư, let's not focus on these easy topics of study, home accommodation, and work. So let's start with something a bit more difficult. Do you know what you have to do for speaking? Task 1, Part 2, Part 3?
Yeah, I think I do have some knowledge about it.
Can you tell me what should you do for Task 1? I mean, for Part 1.
I think for part one, I only have to answer questions about myself, and it uh, doesn't have to be really professional academic, I guess. It's just,
No, it doesn't have to be. It just have to be natural.
yeah, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Don't use fancy vocabs here. It's not going to work. I mean, most of the time people use phrasal verbs, a lot of phrasal verbs. I mean, in speaking, it will help them get good grades. I mean, for all three tests. But for part one, remember, for every question, you need to expand your answer a little bit. Like, for example, if I ask you what's your favorite color, you can also tell me more about like why you like that color. Does that color has any meaning or something like that? What's the meaning of that color? Or do you prefer bright or dark or bright colors? You can also talk about the reason why you do that. And how about your feelings for those colors, for example? Try to expand your answer to about 3 sentences. So the examiners have at least something to base on to give you like a grade,
Yes.
Try to expand it. All right, so let's just try topic number 14 now, studying mathematics. So, Mr. When did you start learning math?
Well, since I was uh, in grade one, I have been math has been a compulsory subject in my school.
Mhm.
And I have been studying it since.
Ever since. So you have been studying it ever since. I see. Do you like math?
To be honest, I dislike maths. I believe it's one of my most disliked one subjects in my curriculum because I have always
Yeah,
been
always hated it, right?
terrible.
Yeah, always hated it, right?
Yeah,
I see. How about the sciences, like chemistry, physics, biology? Do you also like them, or do you hate them too?
I hate them too.
Ah,
I think they're not really my cup of tea though.
oh well. Did your mother told you that I am also a science teacher?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, I am an English teacher, and also I'm a piano teacher, and I also teach all for science. I mean, not in school because I'm a freelancer. So I also write 2 books in like teaching English, like studying for the IELTS exam. And I also play the piano for events, and I also do astrology as well.
Well, that's I think that's really cool. I also
Thank you.
really love the piano.
Oh, then you should definitely see my other piano channels. Well, okay, so from every video, of course, you will see the link to my other channels. So like, for example, if you go to, let's say, this video, click on more. Oh, there's no link here? Seriously. But you can just find my piano channel with the name, say, um, 120 piano, yeah. I mean, the net is really bad now. Oh, just search for that name and you'll find me. Oh, well. And guess where the music come from? It's me playing. Yeah, just search for the name 120 piano and you'll find me. All right. Anyway, okay. Sometimes I'm so sick of listening to my own voice, you know. Anyway, so who taught you math?
Well, I think my math teacher taught me math since I was very little. And also at home, my mother taught me math too.
Oh, is your
So
mother also a teacher?
yeah, she teaches English.
Sorry?
She is an English teacher.
Oh, I see. So being in this class, a specialized class of English, is that your dream or is it her idea?
It's both because my English is the only subject that I think I'm a little better than other ones. So yeah, I chose it.
You know, language is the key to open up new doors. I see. So do you remember your math teachers?
Well, not really, since I was small. I have always had a dislike for maths, and therefore the teachers were really scary to me. So yeah, I don't really remember them.
Mm, you just want to forget, no?
Yeah.
Can't wait to get out. It's like that.
Yes.
Now, so do students learn math in high schools in Vietnam? High school mean junior high school and senior high school, you know. Junior high school is from grade 6 to grade 9. Senior high school is from 10 to 12.
Oh well, yes. Maths is always compulsory in all kinds of school in Vietnam, and I believe in several universities, maths are also taught.
Hmm, interesting that you said that. I see. Because, okay, math is compulsory in a lot of different schools around the world. So I don't think it has ever been omitted out.
Yeah.
So, do you like to use a calculator or do you
Absolutely.
prefer to calculate by hand?
I always have to use a calculator when I um, do maths.
Hmm,
It's like a necessity for me. I can't live without it.
a necessity, exactly. So these days we use a lot of digital devices, and I think calculator is like an essential item now. Anyway, so do you think it's necessary to learn math?
Despite the fact that maths is one of my most disliked subjects, I believe that it's very essential to learn maths as it improves our uh, critical thinking and it helps us to have a logical thinking as well.
Hmm, that is partly correct because actually you can improve your logical thinking skills in other subject using other subjects. So it's still a debatable issue whether learning math is absolutely necessary. I think I think so. Anyway, so what can people do with math in their daily life? Can you
Uh,
think about like some
to be
applications?
honest, I don't really think maths is really um, an important part of in people's daily life. I haven't seen many
Mm,
people use maths often. They always use their other skills to struggle with their daily life. So I don't think maths is important.
mm, I see. So let's try another topic. Okay, let's try number 22 about advertisement. So do you see a lot of advertising?
Definitely, I saw them a lot. Whenever I watch any TV programs or any videos on YouTube, they appear a lot.
Hmm, advertising. So I'm just want to emphasize like the stress on the word. So advertising and advertisement or advertisement. I see. So are there any types of advertising you like?
To be honest, I don't like advertising in general. Any
Mm.
kinds of advertisements uh, are always cause annoyance to me, so I don't like any of them.
So you mean they're always annoying to me because it makes you feel annoyed, right?
Yes.
Exactly. Okay. What I'm trying to get to your attention right now, it's the ed form or the ing form of the adjectives. I call them passive or active adjectives. And you probably know it already because you are in specialized class in English anyway. So interesting, interested, annoyed, annoying. You know how they are used, right?
Yes.
Of course, good. Now, so have you ever bought something because of an advertisement?
Not really. Uh, I mean, nowadays there are many advertisements that are not really reliable. So,
Mhm.
uh, maybe I only buy things when I uh, actually hear the good reviews from my friends or my family about the product, and I'll buy it.
Say again, please.
Uh, I repeat it.
No, no, no problem. Okay, so do you watch advertisement from the beginning to the end?
Uh, Actually, I've never watched any advertisements from the beginning to the end. I always find another. Uh, I always get distracted by other things, and also I think advertisements are really boring to watch.
Well, people spend a lot of money to create those advertisements, and also people have to pay the broadcaster or the TV, national TV, a lot of money in order to air or broadcast those advertisements to people. Anyway, but these days, I don't think advertisement is ever effective anymore because people just skip. Anyway, next question. Do you think advertisement are necessary?
Well, I believe that advertisements are necessary for promoting a product because they help
Product.
to, yeah,
A product.
a product. They help the buyers to get access to the
You
product
get
and
access to.
access to the product, and the companies or industries have more uh, will know more about the needs of the buyers.
I see. Right. So remember that without advertisement, companies would not be able to let the public know about their products very well. And also, that would not help the economy, because people need to get to know, people need to know new products, people need to spend money in order for the economy to keep going. So I do think that advertisement is absolutely necessary. Okay, so what do you think about false advertising? False advertising means like unreliable and they try to fake it. They try to convince people to buy things, but there are a lot of truth they do not reveal to people about the products. So what do you think about false advertising?
Well, I think is a very bad trick to persuade people to buy products, because it not only prevents the buyers to uh, have more knowledge about the products. It also, when the buyers find out about the unreliability of the brand, they will try not. They will. The brand will be the brand's reputation will be destroyed, I believe.
Well, it happens all the time, but these days it seems to be the norm, These days seem to be the norm. A lot of people, they just basically try to make the products look shiny, beautiful, good quality, but the quality is just like average. Anyway, I would like to show you a new word, gimmick.
Yeah.
Gimmick and ploy, basically it's the trick that people who sells the products often use in order to help them sell the product better. Gimmicks. Anyway, so that's about part 1. Let's move on to part 2 and part 3. Okay, do you know about part 2 and part 3 in IELTS?
Yeah, I think I do.
Tell me, please. Like, what are you expected to do in part 2 and part 3 of IELTS?
Part two, I think, is we'll have 2 minutes, 1 minute to prepare our our speech, and then 2 minutes to talk about it. And
Mm,
in this part, I believe they will test our fluency.
Not just fluency. In part 2, you have to be careful with the tense, like past tense, future tense. Is it present tense or not? You have to be careful with the tense, okay? And part 3, it's like they would try to push your grades to the maximum limit that you can ever get. So they will ask you a lot of questions, not about yourself, okay? So you should not provide personal examples. Try to give examples of like what's happening on the news or just general thing, okay?
Yes.
Part 3, try to speak at length. Try to talk as much as you can for part 3, because it's like you are discussing a topic. You're trying to form different opinions and then discuss about it. So it will let the examiner knows your true level of English. Part 3 is actually where you bring all the guns, all the weapons, all the skills in English that you have amassed since the first day you learn English. Bring it out, everything, Put it on the table. It's like that.
Yeah.
So try your best for part 3 if you want to get like a band 7.5 or 8 in speaking, okay? Now, let's try moment, please. Let me just pull this one up. I'm just gonna pull these things up so it doesn't cost that much space here. All right, I would like you to try question number 100. You should open the files now so you can see it together at the same time as me. Describe an invention that is useful in your daily life. Miêu tả một cái phát minh mà hữu ích trong cuộc sống hàng ngày của bạn. And you should say what the invention was, what it can do, how popular it is. It means that do people use it a lot? Explain whether it is difficult or easy to use. So part 2, you should focus on what you should say here, okay? Because you have only a minute to 2 minutes to talk about this one. If you exceed the time limit, the examiner have to go to part 3 immediately, you know, they cannot wait for you. So part 2 is stressful because you are under a time constraint. You have only 60 seconds to think about part 2. And in the exam room, you are only given a cue card for part 2. They will not reveal to you the question for part 3. So you have only like 60 seconds to think about this topic. After you're done, the examiner will ask immediately these part 3 questions, and you have no more time to prepare. You have to immediately answer them, you know?
Yes.
All right. It can be very tough, but I'll help you how to improve your part 3 and part 2. Okay, so this is going to be what you have to do. And then part 3, what qualities do inventors have? Những nhà phát minh có những phẩm chất gì? What qualities do inventors have? Think about like in order to invent new things, do they have to be open-minded?
Yes.
Do they? Yes, of course. And you should give examples of how to be open-minded and how they could be open-minded. And maybe give some examples. Do you know about the invention of penicillin?
Not really.
Okay. Have you ever heard about the name Fleming, Alexander Fleming?
I
He
think
is
I.
a scientist. He's a biologist. And he found penicillin by accident. One day, he forgot to clean some culture dish in his lab. And after the weekend, there were some mold growing in his culture dish. And he realized that the mold, wherever there are molds, the bacteria are killed. They cannot develop. So he found out that the mold produce a substance. That's the penicillin, you know. And that's part of the story, how he found penicillin by accident. So sometimes you need to be open-minded. You need to accept new things, you know. So that's just like an example. You can also talk about other qualities, like they need to have discipline, you know, có kỷ luật. They need to have discipline because if you try to invent something, most of the time your invention would fail, you know. It's like 1,000 times of trial, only one time you'll be successful, you know. It's just like doing science on research. So you need to not give up. You need to have discipline, you know, and also be open-minded too. So what other qualities do you think? Mr. What other qualities do you think inventors should have?
I think maybe creativity. Um,
Of course, creativity is important in order to know which direction you are going to. Yeah, I agree. Okay, do you think only scientists can invent new things? Anh chị có nghĩ rằng chỉ có những nhà khoa học mới có thể phát minh những thứ mới không? Like, is there any other professions where people can invent new things? Think about medicine, of course. In medical field, of course, a lot of doctors, they invent new things too. Think about education.
yeah.
A lot of teachers and educators, they can invent new methods of teaching, you know.
Yes.
Some students, of course, students do invent new things from time to time. Like, for example, I remember I read a story last week. Some Vietnamese students, they managed to invent a helicopter, their own helicopter, you know. I see. So you should use like some examples that you hear or on the news, something like that, or general examples. Now, what invention do you think should be improved? Có những cái phát minh nào anh chị nghĩ rằng nên được cải thiện? Like, you should think about like inventions that have already been used. Like, for example, the microwave oven, for example. Do you think it should be improved? If you say no, then it's already good enough. Why not? But some people may think it needs to be improved, like the microwave oven need to be able to grill chickens, for example, or needs to have other functions like um, it can store food in there like longer, for example. It's up to you, be creative with this question. Are there any other inventions that make the world better? Liệu có bất kỳ cái phát minh nào nó làm thế giới nó tốt hơn không? Well, this, of course, it's a question that asks people to be creative. Think about medicines. Think about machines that help agriculture, like tractors, like agricultural machines that help people grow crops easier, faster. But I don't think you should mention like war machines, because it doesn't make the world better. It doesn't. It makes it worse, actually. Maybe, but it's up to you, Just give a lot of examples. All right, and then, oh, yeah, 5 and 6 here. Okay, need to... Number 5 is, do all inventions bring benefits to our world? Liệu có phải tất cả mọi phát minh đều đem ích lợi đến cho thế giới chúng ta không? Well, I think you know how to answer the question. And then you have this one, that last question here. Who should support and sponsor inventors? Governments or private companies? This is hard. Ai nên ủng hộ và chi tiền tài trợ cho những nhà phát minh, chính quyền hay là những công ty tư nhân? So think about like government or private companies. What is their agendas? Like, what is their agendas? Why are they sponsoring? Why are they supporting inventors? What is their goals to achieve? Normally, if private companies sponsor inventors, they would try to buy those inventions in order to make lots and lots of profits, That is capitalism. Đó là chủ nghĩa tư bản. Of course, they would try to exploit inventors. Think about the story of Thomas Edison and other scientists. For sure, Thomas Edison is an inventor himself, but he's very rich, He exploit people. Of course, he sponsor inventors, but he also exploit people. Now, if governments sponsor inventors, of course, the government would probably try to benefit their country more than just profits, So think about that. That's just my idea. But of course, if government supports inventors, the support doesn't come very quickly, And sometimes the money is hard to get access to. But private companies sponsor inventors very quickly, and because of that, they can make lots of profits. So everything there's a good and bad in there, Try to explore different viewpoints in part 3 in order to show that you are an objective person, Mình phải làm sao thể hiện ra cái sự mà khách quan và nhìn nhận mọi việc bằng nhiều chiều trong cái part 3 này,
Yes.
Right. Right. Okay, so let's focus on this one. I'll give you some time to prepare. All right, now time to talk about it. Please, Miss Anh Thư, can you describe an invention that is useful in your daily life?
To talk about an invention that I believe is useful in my daily life, I would choose mobile phones. Um, I believe that uh, the invention can help you to entertain yourselves, and it also is a wonderful tool of education. There are many apps for games that you can download on your phone, and you can get access to a wide range of uh, apps that contains news all over the world. And I believe that almost everyone in the whole world has a mobile phone, as is small and extremely convenient to use or to carry around wherever you go. Um, and I believe that mobile phones are really easy to use. There are many, as all the name apps are available in whatever language you choose. And if you don't know how to use them, you can ask people around you. And I think it's not really difficult to learn how to use a mobile phone. Mm,
Very good. I think it's quite good. Okay, so what qualities do inventors have, Miss Anh Thư?
well, I believe that inventors need to be extremely creative and they need to be patient with their work. As you can see, to invent something new, they have to think outside the box, think of something that is not available right now, so that they can invent something extremely new to everyone and to themselves too. And also, they need patience because maybe to invent something new, they may fail a large number of times. So they have to do it over and over again to achieve what they want. So I think that's the two qualities they need to have.
Do you think only scientists can invent new things?
Well, not really. I think other than scientists, there are a number of other professions that can invent new things, such as teaching or doctors. As you can see, about teachers, I can see many teachers um, who can invent a lot of new teaching methods that can help students to achieve more in their study, and also help to uh, connect themselves with their students better. And about doctors, they also need to invest for better treatment for their patients.
I see. That's a good answer for this question. Now, so what inventions do you think should be improved?
Well, I think is the microwave that need to be improved. Uh,
Can you try another invention, please?
uh, Another.
Yeah, something like, okay, I'll ask you another question while you can think about that. Like something else you can think of. Okay, are there any other inventions that make the world better?
Well, I think. Uh, can you answer the other question? So I haven't
Would you
really.
like to try that again? Okay, so what invention do you think should be improved?
Well, I think is the smartphone.
Hmm.
Um, although that although it smartphones have been upgraded day by day, but I believe that there are many drawbacks, many flaws to this invention.
Mhm.
Uh, sometimes it gets to sometimes
Yeah,
sometimes
sometimes it's like too
yeah,
much.
yeah,
Sometimes it's just like there are problems with security. There are problems with privacy, you know,
yes, yes.
that needs to be addressed, that needs to be tackled. Okay. Anything else? When you hear anything else, you know that something is missing.
Uh,
Try it. Okay, so Miss Toe, are there any other inventions that make the world better?
I think is the light bulb. Um,
The what?
the
The
light
Wi-Fi.
bulb, the light in
Ah,
our
the light bulb, you mean?
yes. It was invented a long time ago, and it it has always been used ever since, as I think it proves its efficiency in helping people to do their activities in even in the evening when
Meaning?
the sun's no longer up and is pretty dark outside. So
Mhm.
people will always have to make use of this invention to do their daily activities.
Hmm. I see. Now, so do all inventions bring benefits to our world?
To be honest, think I do not think that all inventions can bring benefits to our world.
Mhm.
For example, explosives invented by Nobel. I think
Noble,
um,
Noble,
yeah,
like Mr.
Nobel.
Noble. Yeah.
Uh, at first, he invented
Alfred
them.
Noble. Yeah, Alfred Noble.
Alfred Nobel. Yes. At first, he invented them with a good intention. But then people started buying them for their own
Nefarious purposes. Thì những mục
yes.
đích là nó rất là ác độc, tàn ác. For their nefarious purposes.
Yes,
And they start killing each other using explosives.
and it has um, killed a lot of people and caused many um, many troubles to people all around the world during war. So yeah, I believe no in not all inventions can bring benefits to our world.
I see. Right. So I cannot ask the next question because you already mentioned that. So last question is who should support and sponsor inventors, governments, or private companies then?
I believe uh, there are a number of uh, reasons for who should support and sponsor inventors. Um, I think whether it's governments or private companies, they need to have their purpose, their goal in order to support any inventor to invent what they want. Maybe with the governments, they would want the inventors to create something that is helpful to the whole country.
Mhm.
But on the other hand, with private companies, I think they would want the inventors to invent something that they can take advantage of that.
Because private companies always want to take advantage of people who are talented, who have so much talent, who can invent things, you know. That's the nature of capitalism, to exploit people for its own benefits.
Yeah.
Now, so there are good and bad sides in every kind of arguments. Can you also say about a good side of that as well?
Um, mm,
Hello?
I don't know. I haven't thought about that.
All right, so okay, you should try to practice these questions that you find hard. I mean, at home
Yes.
in front of a mirror. Yes. All right, so these questions are relatively new because I put it all the way, here. All right, try 101. Describe a water sport you would like to try in the future. Miêu tả một môn thể thao dưới nước bạn mong muốn thử trong tương lai. So it means that you have not tried it yet, but you would like to try in the future. You should say what it is, where you would like to try it, whether it's difficult or not. Is the sport difficult or not? Explain why you would like to try it. Okay.
Yes.
And you have part 3 here about the same thing. What is sport? What are the advantages of water transportation? So this is not just about sport, okay? It's about something related to water. So what are the advantages of water transportation? It means that we transport objects, we transport items, we transport goods through ships, like shipping containers. Shipping containers. So what are the advantages of water transportation? So let's think about the cost. Think about the the speed. Think about how much you can send, you can transport. Think about also, is it readily available? And can you send easily to any country around the world? That is the advantages of water transportation you need to think of. Think about, you can also compare water transportation with other modes of transportation, including like, through the airplane, or through trains. Mình so sánh nó với lại cái chuyện đi bằng xe lửa hoặc là máy bay ha. You can also compare it with other modes of transportation too, but I think that's the main things. Like, yeah. It can take a long time, like 3 months, for a shipment from Vietnam to get to, let's say, Europe, for example, because they have to go through many ports around the world. That's the speed. But of course, the cost isn't that expensive. It's okay. It's acceptable. But when you would like to the shipment to arrive by train, for example, some countries you cannot get access by train. Like, for example, if you want to send shipment from Vietnam to America or the other way around, there is no way you can do it by train. Or you have to do that partly by ships because America and Vietnam is separated by huge Atlantic Ocean and Pacific Ocean, right? Hai đất nước cách nhau hai cái đại dương lớn luôn á. Thái Bình Dương với lại đại dương Atlantic Ocean and Pacific Ocean. So you have to do partly, at least partly by ship. So think about that. Is it available? What you can transport as well. Like when you would like to transport big and bulky or bulky items, you need to transport them with ships, because sometimes trains, you cannot do that because it's too big, for example. Anyway, think about next question. Why do people like to live near water? Tại sao con người ta lại thích sống gần nước? Think about how important water is. to human activities? Can we wash? Can we drink? Can humans use water for productions? Oh. Can human use water for productions? Yes, we definitely need that. Can we human use water for irrigation of agriculture of crops, tưới tiêu của các vụ mùa? And also think about if you live near water, the temperature does not fluctuate so much. Because why? Water keeps the change in temperature not so rapid, you know. It makes the change in temperature not so rapid. So we human can adapt to the change quickly, you know. Sống gần nước thì cái nước đó nó sẽ giúp cho cái nhiệt độ nó thay đổi không quá nhanh được, làm cơ thể con người có thể chịu đựng được, thay đổi đáp ứng được. Okay, so think about that. Now, what kinds of water sports are popular nowadays? Có những loại môn thể thao dưới nước nào nó thông dụng ngày nay? Think about water polo, swimming, of course. What else? Snorkeling, scuba diving, and I think recently there's some activities. It's called treasure hunting, you know.
Yeah.
But I think these are activities. Those are not water sports. But you can mention them, you know. You can partly mention about treasure hunting as well as activities related to water. Mình có thể nhắc đá qua mấy hoạt động mà nó liên quan đến nước thôi. And you should say why they are popular. Tại sao nó lại popular? Okay. Some time to think now. Right, Mr. Please describe a water sport you would like to try in the future.
About a water sport that I would like to try in the future, I would say is scuba diving. I have seen it on TV several years ago, and I have been interested in this sport.
Interested.
Interested in the sport, and I think I would like to try scuba diving in the Maldives. Yeah, I think it's a really beautiful place to to try any activity. Um, and as I saw it on TV a while ago, I think is a very difficult sport. It you have to carry all the stuff so that you can go underwater, and is I think it's pretty heavy. Um, and the reason why I want to try the sport because since I was a child I have always been fascinated by the water, and I really desire to know what the life underwater will be, about the living organisms there, and all the beautiful sceneries underwater. So when I try scuba diving, I have a chance to observe all the beautiful things that I have long been interested in.
Interested in. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's go to part 3 now. So what are the advantages of water transportation then?
I think there are about 3 advantages of water transportation. They are cost, is price, speed, and its availability. About the coast, I believe that the world is surrounded by many oceans, and there's water almost everywhere in the world. So to travel to transport products through ships or boats, I think the cost will not will be uh, a little cheaper than other transportation. Um, and about the speed, I think is uh, water transportation will help you to deliver the products much faster than uh, by planes or by trains, you know. And about the availability, as water is available everywhere. So to transport by ships, through ships or boats, I think is it helps to. I think it's more available than uh, any other spots, any other transportations that exist nowadays.
Mm. Think about, okay, transportation here does not only concern transporting goods across countries or something like that, you know. It's also about going and traveling to another country yourself. Like, for example, would you consider traveling to, let's say, Europe with a ship? It would take like a long time, but you'll be on the sea for many days, you know. Think about that. Of course, there are disadvantages too. All right, so why do people like to live near water then?
Well, water is an essential part of
Life.
people's daily life. Uh, People will need water um, to do their daily activities, such as uh, drinking or washing or cleaning. You know, and that's why living near water will give them the advantages to maybe to survive better than in any other places in the world where water is not really available.
Hmm. I see. So think about irrigation, think about in the history of mankind, you know, all the major cities have to be located near to rivers, you know, because of that. It's the source of life, you know.
Yes.
Try to improve it that way. Okay, think about history. Think about why we need water, you know. Without water, human civilization would vanquish. We would disappear within a very short amount of time, you know.
Yes.
That's why people need to live near water. It's not just about being like it or not. It's not just about liking it or not. It's about survival, you know. Okay, think about that. So next question. What kinds of water sports are popular nowadays and why?
Well, the water sports that are popular nowadays, I think they are water polo, swimming, or scuba diving. Um, as you can see, people are exploring a lot from the sea or the rivers. Um, I mean, water. So, the uh, and people can realize that they can um, get entertainment and also uh, have a business over these water sports, the sports using water. So many people would want to try these water sports for their own uh, entertaining purposes. And there are some people will uh,
There's some people who something. Okay, please continue. There are some people who
uh,
okay, think about the fact that when playing water sports, you do not sweat, you know, because around you is just water. Không có ra mồ hôi luôn á. Chơi trò này sao ra mồ hôi được? Yeah. And I think that's one of the main reason why people choose water sports, you know.
Yeah.
It's comfortable to play, you know. You don't
Okay.
sweat, and it's always the temperature is always like very mild or cool enough. You feel good, you know? All right, so that's these are some reasons I can use to help you with your part three. All right, you still have problem with part three, trust me, you do. Now, let's try. Okay, there are some other questions I haven't done here. So, Miss Anto, do you think it's good to teach swimming in school?
I believe that it is not only good but essential to teach swimming in schools. Nowadays, I can see many
Nowadays, actually.
now nowadays
Hmm.
I can see many cases of people getting drowned in the water because uh, many of them, the majority of them cannot, they don't know how to swim, so they just let the water let themselves that drown in the water. So I think teaching swimming at schools will help students to gain knowledge uh, of how to survive in the water when they maybe get when they fall in the water. And also, swimming is a sport that can help them to
It's a
have,
survival skill.
yeah, and it also helps them to have a good shape, it improves their health and their physical shape.
Hmm. I agree. Now, so what do you think of the people who waste water? Because there are people who waste water a lot through their activities, you know. They just, let the water flow out of the tap, and they don't like to conserve water because they might think that the water price is so cheap, you know. So they like to waste a lot of water. So what do you think of the people who waste water?
To be honest, I think lowly of the people who waste water. Um, as around the world, there are many places where water is not available, and people have to struggle using the contaminated water to struggle with their daily life. Even for drinking, they would also have to use not uh, they have to use contaminated water because there are not enough water in their vicinity. And for those people who waste water, they may not know about the reality of the problem. And maybe in their homes, water is everywhere and the price is pretty cheap. So they do not really care about anything else, but they just waste water without consideration, I think.
I see. So, of course, you should think lowly of them, but yeah, if you were born in a country where water prices is so cheap, like Vietnam, it's very easy to waste water. But if you do live on high mountains or in, say, deserts, people would definitely have ways to conserve water more, and they wouldn't waste it. Now, next question. What are the characteristics of goods transported by water? Like, for example, goods transported by water, do they have to have any kind of specialization, any kind of dimensions? Like, are they big enough? Are they heavy enough? Um, can they be kept for a long time, something like that, like expiry date? You know, should they be liquid? Should they be powder? Should they be um, ice or something like that? So what are the characteristics of goods transported by water then? Think
Mm,
about how long it takes for them to get to their destination. Would the goods be spoiled easily? Something like that?
I think the goods that are transported by water need to be heavy, or they have to be they can be kept for a long time without um, any destruction, um, such as oil. I can see many ships uh, delivering oil all over the world, and um, they can carry around uh, hundreds of tons of oil. And also, this good is can be kept for a long time, and they can be kept for days on the sea uh, without being destroyed or without
Like,
being destroyed. Yeah.
okay, so the goods need to have a long shelf life, or the long shelf life, or you can say long expiry date, in order to not spoil on the way they're transported.
Yeah.
And most of the time, people do not transport liquids using like ships, because of course they don't want it to spoil easily. However, for example, essential oil, I ordered it on Amazon. I ordered like through website online, and then it takes months to arrive. Of course, they have to be transported by water, and then they have to be imported into this country. Nó phải được nhập khẩu vào, đi bằng đường thủy này nọ. Okay, so that's about it, I think. um let's try another one. We have a lot to try though. Let's try 102. Describe a movie you watched recently that you felt disappointed about. Miêu tả một cái bộ phim mà bạn đã coi gần đây mà bạn cảm thấy rất là thất vọng về nó. Okay, past tense, be careful. You should say what it is, what it's about, why you decided to watch it. Tại sao mình lại quyết định coi nó. Explain why you felt disappointed about it. And
Uh,
then you have, sorry,
do I have to say the name of the movie, or it's just
not necessary. If you want to, say it. If you don't want to, it's fine.
okay?
And then part 3, do you believe movie reviews? Bạn có tin vào những cái reviews trên mạng về phim ảnh không? Những cái mà xem lại. Like the people who watch the movie, they left a comments about the movie. It's called reviews. So the other people can have an idea what the movie is about, how good the quality it is. Is it good to spend money to watch them? And the question say, do you believe movie reviews and why? What are the different types of films in your country? Có những loại phim ảnh nào khác nhau trong đất nước bạn không? Are historical films popular in your country? Những phim ảnh về lịch sử có thông dụng, có thấy được nhiều trong đất nước bạn không? Why? Think about movies about the war, what happened during the war, and then films about the old people during like hundred of years ago, something like that. And do people like to watch them? And are those movies popular? Are they interesting to watch? Is there anything fun to watch? Something like that. And then next one, do you think films with famous actors or actresses would be more popular? Anh chị có nghĩ rằng những phim ảnh có diễn viên nổi tiếng, hoặc là những cái diễn viên nam, diễn viên nữ nổi tiếng, nó sẽ được nhiều người coi hơn không? It means that, like, if there are famous actor or actresses starring to star in a movie, đóng vai trong một bộ phim. If there are famous actors or actresses starring in a movie, would it attract much more people to come to the movie theater? Would that make the movie more successful? You know, give examples. Now, why are Japanese animated films so popular? So Japanese animated film here mean anime, you know.
Yeah.
Tại sao những phim ảnh động của Nhật Bản nó thật là thông dụng như vậy? You probably know the reason more than me because I don't watch anime. And then should the director pay a lot of money to famous actors? Những người đạo diễn có nên trả rất nhiều tiền cho những diễn viên nổi tiếng không? Think about like the benefits that famous actor can bring to the movie, the profits, lợi nhuận đó nha. And think about, of course, if someone is famous, you need to pay money to see them, you know. You need to spend money to compensate for the efforts, the crazy amount of efforts that famous actors put in order to make good movies, you know. Đâu phải ngẫu nhiên ta nổi tiếng đâu. Người ta phải làm việc rất 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 cực lực. Think about Taylor Swift. You know, Taylor Swift and her the Eras tour, right?
Yeah.
She has to spend at least 6 months, like very intensive 6 months in order to prepare for that tour, you know? And the same thing happened to famous actors. They have to be trained. They have to undergo a lot of training, do a lot of crazy thing in order to fit in the role, in order to be able to act well, you know? So is it something that justifiable, you know? Is it something justifiable? Có được minh chứng là đúng không? Có xứng đáng không? Is it worth it? It means like justifiable means is it worth it to pay a lot of money to famous actors? Think about that. All right. You have some time to think now. All right, Miss Two, please. Can you describe a movie you watched recently that you felt disappointed about?
Well, also I want to talk about a Vietnamese movie that I recently watched, and I have to say that it made me really disappointed.
You
Uh,
mean it's really disappointing?
no,
Because you're talking about the nature of the movie, you know, you should use disappointing.
yeah.
Nó nói về bản chất của cái phim đó phải dùng disappointing mới đúng nha. Okay, so it's disappointing.
I watched it last weekend with my friends when it was released in cinema. And I expected it to be, uh, a touching and wonderful movie. But unfortunately, it fell short of my expectations in many ways. First, about the plot. The plot was really predictable. It's like a cliche, a love story of two people separated by their parents, and they have to fight, and finally they got back to each other. And
Okay.
cliche.
Mhm.
And about the acting of the actors and the actress. I don't really feel any emotions in their acting. Uh,
So it's terrible acting then.
yeah. And also the character development. Uh, it doesn't really strike. It didn't really strike any impression on
Pressure.
this film for me. Is uh, always the bad and the good. It is not really it didn't really have a good character development. After watching the film, I got really disappointed, and I regretted watching it at the beginning.
See, and you regretted spending money toward and then the time to watch it.
Yeah.
All right, so do you believe movie reviews?
Well, I am in two minds about movie reviews.
Mm,
There are times that I there are times that movie reviews really are really
really important for
useful
me. Eh?
to for me to um, get knowledge of the movie, as they have really good insights of plot or of the acting of the actors, which help me to um, get to understand more about the movie without wasting time watching a um, an unsuitable one. And but however, uh, movie reviews can be objective, and it can be one-sided. You know, people have many viewpoints about the movie they watch. It's also about their ways to see the movie. So it's about their own experiences, and and sometimes it may not be true for me. So yeah, I just believe some of the movie reviews.
See. Okay, so what are the different types of films in your country?
Well, in my country, there are numerous types of films, such as action movies, science fiction movies, or documentaries, or historical movies too. Um, uh, and any kinds of movies are extremely popular in the country, as uh, people's demands on those movies vary all over the country. Many old people would want to have a nostalgic sense of the past, and they would want to watch historical movies, about the war, the past, about the 60s, 70s, or 80s. And for young people, they would want to experience the kind of movies that give them a thrilling experience or give them a refreshing experience, such as movies such as sci-fi or action movies.
I see. So, what do you think is the type of movie that a lot of Vietnamese will enjoy it nevertheless? It doesn't matter what age groups. What do you think? If you
Mm,
could choose one, what would that be?
I think uh, I believe is the movies about love. It can be a love between two people, or about the family love, or the love between friendship, our family, and because for all people, love is something really that gives them the
You
peaceful
know, it's like people are attracted to
yeah,
content or movies that they can relate to. Con người
yeah.
ta có thể cảm được điều đó. They can relate to those contents. That's how they will watch them. They can relate to those content. That's why they watch them. If the movie is not related to them in any way, they will not be attracted to those movies. So that's one idea to think about. Now, so are historical films popular in your country and why?
Mm, yes, I believe that historical films are um, prevalent in my country. Um, as about the elderly, they would want to go back to the past where they live with their young selves, and they would want to um, experience those uh, good days again. And about the young people, they are curious about how life was in the past, and they would watch those historical films to be more knowledgeable about the past, or just to
That's,
know how to just want to experience something new other than their daily life.
I agree. Now, so do you think movies with famous actors or actresses would be more popular?
Mm. Well, to be honest, I believe that movies with famous actors or actresses would be more popular than other films, as because I believe that there has to be a reason for those actors or actresses to be famous. It has to be about their emotional acting, or they have to they have to help the view the audiences to be related to their story, to their films. So the films with those famous actors and actresses would be more attractive to any people.
Hmm. Think about the contribution of the famous actor and actresses to making those movie popular, you know. Remember, those famous people, the celebrities are like magnets, giống như nam châm vậy đó. They attract so many people to the movie theater. And because of that, those movies will become very successful and the message can be conveyed very easily. The message can be conveyed easily. Cái thông điệp có thể được truyền tải một cách rất là dễ dàng through the movies. And also, so I think it's fair to say that movies with famous people in there, it's worth it, I think. Now, so why are anime or Japanese animated films so popular?
Well, I think the reason why Japanese animated films are popular is that they have uh, um, they have uh, vibrant colors, and the characters are designed to be of the audience's demands. So uh, the viewers can choose whatever characters they want, and um, uh,
And
the directors can design those characters that are popular and suitable to the for the people's needs. So it um, it fills their demands to be entertained and to get what they want from watching films. So I think that's why.
I see there's a mosquito right in front of me. And now it's raining. Interesting. Now, so should the director pay a lot of money to famous actors? What do you think?
Yes, I believe that the director should pay a lot of money to the famous actors. Uh, due to their contribution to due to the contribution and their um, good acting. Um, to be famous actors, they have to spend a lot of time, money, and uh, their health, maybe their health, uh, to have a good movie to convey what uh, to convey what the film directors want them to.
Convey, yeah. And in order to act well, in order to be as great actors and actresses, it isn't easy. So lots of contribution, a lot of sacrifices has to be made, you know. A lot of sacrifices has to be made. Và hy sinh nhiều lắm luôn á, để cho những bộ phim đó. Like a lot of the time, if there are movies where the actors have to be under like very dirty conditions or very dangerous conditions, they have to sacrifice themselves, you know, to make those scenes alive, you know. So hy sinh cho nghệ thuật, of course, they have to sacrifice a lot for art, you know. So it's quite fair to say that the money, a lot of money to pay for famous actors are well justified. Cái lượng tiền khổng lồ mà dành cho những người famous actor là hoàn toàn được minh chứng là đúng. They are totally well justified. All right. We have only like 8 minutes left. Let's okay, so we have a lot more topics. Let me see. These are the latest one, you know. You're gonna see 114 is like the latest one too. Let's try one more, okay? And then we are done for the day. Let's try 109. Describe a story about space that you have read. This is outer space, you know, vũ trụ. Miêu tả một câu chuyện về vũ trụ mà các bạn đã đọc được. This is hard. Why? Because you need to talk about a story about the planets, the stars, and who's in there, the astronauts, and about the launching of space shuttle, you know, things like that. Okay, you have some time to prepare for 109 here.
Yes.
Okay, your turn. Please describe a story about space that you have read, Miss Thư.
Well, so several months ago, I read a story about about a space mission. It's about discovering a new planet for people on Earth to reside when the climate changes become too extreme. So they went on a space mission there, and they have to float in the space for about a week before they discovered a new planet, and then they landed there and they get exposed to a whole different environment. And after scrutinizing the place, um, they think that it may be a good substitute for the Earth. But then on their stay uh, during the stay, they got harmed by some weird creatures on the planet, and it took them a while to to cure from them, but not entirely. They also have some effects on them on their later life. Um, Reading the story
Okay,
has,
that's more than 2 minutes. Careful. Okay, you are talking a lot about the story, but I think that's too much.
yeah.
Okay, that's good enough. And why do you think it's so interesting?
Well, I think it because it's very practical nowadays because um, climate change is a big problem on Earth, and people all over the world are suffering from it. So I think discovering a new planet is just a matter of time.
It's just a matter of time, I see. Right, very well, we can end it here.